I'm Mary from Art Makes Life Merry, and I've been teaching art for about 25 years now. Today I wanted to share with you a back to school art lesson. I already shared one project, which is to color in a copy of the art class rules on the very first day. And so today I was thinking this would probably be the second day of art class. So you want to keep your first lessons very simple. You don't want to get into complex art supplies like painting and clay generally for your first few art classes. So the project that I came up with is creating a target design with concentric circles. And normally I have my basic format for a project. So the first section here is where I have the artist example. So I didn't have the artist example here at home with me, so I just made a little quick sketch. So the artist example for this project is Sonia Delaunay, Electrical Prisms. And then underneath that I have the vocabulary words for the lesson. And then on the other side, I have the project, the first step of the project, the drawing, and then the last step of the project, which is the coloring in. So this I would expect to do in one 40-minute art class period. Like I said, keeping it simple, limiting the art supplies, and also it's great to review routines and procedures and get students used to working quietly on their first few days, and then also giving everybody an opportunity for success. So by keeping it simple, making this, circular design very easy and simple to follow, so students are going to be successful and happy with what they've made in art class for that day. So as students come in, generally I would praise them for getting to their seats quietly. If I find that a lot of students are not getting to their seats quietly, then I ask for the Mona Lisa. Who remembers the Mona Lisa? And most students would, then have eyes on me and be ready to listen. If I still have a lot of students who are not ready to go, ready to listen, then I would start naming the students that are doing the right thing. Oh, this person remembers, that person remembers. And then soon enough, everybody remembers and all eyes are on the teacher. Okay, and then I would explain. Today we will be working on the target circle design. And this would be up on my board, and then also I would have Google Slides for each step here of my 4 parts. And so I would explain that, which we're going to do the target design today, and we're going to work together step by step. And then I would go through the vocabulary words for the lesson and explain, the artist's name is Sonia Delaunay, and they would repeat that with me. And then I would say her title is Electrical Prisms. Let's say that. And then we would repeat that together. Her kind of art is abstract art. And then they would say abstract art. And I would explain, I usually say abstract art means that the artist does not want it to look like real life. And I would also explain a little bit about electrical prisms, that Sonia Delaunay made it a long time ago in Paris, France, and that they were changing the street lights in her neighborhood from gas-powered lights to electrical-powered lights. She saw the beautiful glow from all the street lights, and it reminded her of the colors of the rainbow. So when she saw that beautiful glow, she made this beautiful artwork with all the rainbow colors in it. A prism is a piece of crystal or glass that you can see the colors of the rainbow through when the white sunlight is shining through it. And of course there are a lot of shapes in this artwork, and we would probably, pick out a lot of the circles and different shapes that are in her work. And I would also explain that our goal is to use lines, shapes, and colors to create art for this lesson. So I try to keep that goal up actually on my board all year long because it pretty much relates to almost all of my projects. Okay, so we would go through that. It's nice if we have time, to do a little question and answer, what do you see in the artwork, things like that. But we don't always have time for that. So at least we go through the vocabulary words together. So after that, I usually have a story for the students. So the story that relates nicely to this project and for the beginning of the school year is The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. And so the little girl in the story, Vashti, realizes that she just has to have a little confidence and she can create beautiful art. So, and because it's circles and dots are, a similar topic, that also works together for this project. So either I would read that to them or I would find a video where someone else is doing the read aloud for that story. Then I would pass out the papers already in their folders if possible. So if the video's going for the story, then I can put the papers, the drawing papers that they're using. In this case, it's a square 9 by 9 into their folders, just a plain white paper, drawing paper. And then I would have those ready to go after the story and then pass those out. And then I would usually have student helpers get the pencils and erasers. So I put the pencils and the erasers together in these little sandwich containers. I like the nice big pencils, the beginner pencils, and then I like the nice white erasers. So I usually have like 2 students per table, and then I like to have 3 pencils and then 2 erasers. So I usually have like the students that are closest to the window go and get the basket of pencils for their table. And I generally don't like to keep any of the supplies on the table until we're ready to work, just so that we're not distracted and nobody's touching anything. Okay, so then at that point we would draw together or draw together with my drawing video. So I will plan on making a video on how to draw this target design, and I can link to that below in the description after I make that video, which hopefully will be soon. And so then we would draw together these, simple circles. Probably, I don't know, I started with the largest one first, and or you could work with the smallest one first and then just work your way out. So pencil first, and then I would give them a quick demonstration on how to color. So I wanted to make sure that after I drew the circles, I made the line through the center, up and down, so vertical, and then one horizontal. And then that gives me separate spaces for coloring it. So I would just demonstrate that I would draw one, color in one space at a time. And when I got to a pencil line, I would stop. So that's good practice for coloring inside of the lines. And after I gave them a quick demonstration on that, then they would be able to color. So I would probably choose the student that is sitting closest to the door at that point to go and get the markers. I have really nice bins in my classroom. These are just what I happen to have at home. But I have all the markers lined up and then in a picture, and then the picture is up here, so then they can match up the colors in a nice row. But this works, also. So I do have another video for the marker that I can also link to in the description for marker organization that works out really well. Okay, so students get the markers and then they start to work. Usually while they're working, I will put on some music. I really love the Disney classical music while they're working. It has no words to it, just the instrumentals. And usually that's about 10 to 15 minutes of coloring. The introduction of the lesson would probably take maybe 5 minutes for the story, 3 minutes for the vocabulary, 2 minutes to get in and settle down. Passing things out usually, takes a minute or 2 at the most. And so then we've got about probably 10 to 15 minutes of good coloring going on. And, I would remind students to be sure that their voices are quiet If they are not working quietly, we stop the music, we have silent art time. Sometimes we do that even if students are working quietly the whole time. You know, oh, we only have 3 minutes left, or we only have 5 minutes left. We're going to turn off the music, we're going to have silent art time so that everybody can concentrate and everybody can focus, and we can let those people that aren't quite finished yet, you know, get the best, most out of their time and get their artwork done. So then after, if some students are finishing early, then they could always turn their paper over onto the back and draw on the back with the pencils. Probably you don't want to do markers depending on how thick your paper is, because you don't want that marker from the back showing through onto the front of their work. Okay, so after we've got about, 10 to 15 minutes of coloring, then we want to make sure we've got about 10 minutes for cleanup. Probably less as the school year goes on, but while we're getting used to these routines, 10 minutes is usually a good amount for cleanup. So I would ask usually the students that are closest to the door to collect the folders from their table. In this case, today the folders would be empty because I'm not collecting this artwork. I'm letting them take it home. And then the students that are closest to the window would collect the markers and the pencils and bring those over to the windowsill area. And then I would ask students to get back to their seats quickly and quietly for our Guess the Picture game. So at that point I choose a student to come up to the front of the room, to the dry erase board, and to draw a picture for us. So like, let's say for example they wanted to draw a picture of a cat. They don't tell everybody what they're drawing. They start with a circle and then they ask for guesses. Students raise their hands to guess. Then they draw triangle ears for the cat, and then they ask students to guess. So as soon as somebody guesses, then it's someone else's turn to do the drawing game. It's not necessarily the person who guesses gets to go up and draw, though, because then you'll find that you have a lot of the same people going up over and over again, and we like to give everybody a turn. So I would check off on my seating chart the student or students that had a turn that class, so I could choose somebody different next time. All right, and then I would usually call students for lining up. So some classes will have a line leader, some classes won't. And so I would ask for a line leader first, and then I would usually call the colors of their tables to come up and to line up quietly behind that person. Or other classes also have a number order that they line up in, so I usually try to go along with what their classroom teacher has already established as a routine. And I also try to write that on my class folder for that group so that I know when it's time to line up. Oh, is this a class that always has a line leader assigned? Or is this a class that doesn't have a line leader assigned and they like the special area teacher to choose someone to be the line leader? So things like that. Okay, and then if we are still waiting in line, teacher's not there to pick them up yet, a fun thing that we can do is the secret color game. So what I do for that, it's just a telephone game. I think of a color in my head, and then I tell the first person line the color, so whisper it in their ear. They whisper it to the person behind them. If it gets all the way to the end of the line and they get the color correctly, then the students win the game. If they, somehow the color gets changed into something else, and then the teacher wins the game. Or if there's two lines sometimes of students, if someone says the color out loud or doesn't whisper it or starts talking and they're not paying attention to the game, then the teacher wins. So there's good incentive to stand quietly and wait patiently in line for that secret. Alright, so that's pretty much it for my basic format, and that takes up usually a good 40 minutes of class. So I hope this was useful for you, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments below, or if you have any other tips and techniques that you would like to share, I would love to hear that in the comments. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. Thank you so much. Have a great day.